So the other thing I think that's a fairly safe principle, that these psychotic patients are always plagued by a sort of a negativity. And I'll just give you a little example of this. The therapist, Eugenia, was treating a professional man, and she said to him, "Your problem, Julian, is that you are unable to speak to your wife." Now, the patient didn't come for the next session. He did not come because there was a criticism in the tone of the therapist's intervention. Also, Julian felt fear when Eugenia told him that he had a problem. When she said that he was unable to speak to his wife, Julian took it that he should be able to, as if the therapist had said, "If you were a mature man, you would be able to speak to your wife, you know." He felt looked down upon and judged. Now, the therapist had not thought that her remark, "Your problem is that you are unable to speak to your wife," was in any way carried a sort of negative tone. But when it was discussed with her, she began to see that it could, and in fact did carry the implication that he had a problem, whereas she did not. It also became clear to the therapist that he withdrew from her when she spoke to him in this way. And this was why he didn't come for the subsequent session. Now, this happened a few times, and then she had said to him, "You are unable to tell me that you are angry with me." Again, there was the criticism and judgment. And after a few supervisions, she said instead to her patient, "I realize that when I tell you you have a problem, you feel criticized by it, but this is no good either." It just sort of got the thing into more and more of a tangle, and it's like what I was saying last time, that just a very simple type of statement is needed. So what should the therapist do? And the first thing is to reflect on the fact that the patient withdraws, and to say, well, is it because of some tone that comes from me? And there is this huge difference between being angry and realizing I'm angry. It's that they're totally different. And I talk about taking a mirror. The moment you take a mirror and look at oneself and think, I'm angry, it changes its quality. And it changes the quality of the interaction, and it also changes what's available to one's own consciousness as soon as that's happened. So, just to get back to Eugenia with her patient Julian, we realize that her statement, "I realize that when you tell you a problem you feel criticized," but it was to no avail. And so there was only one solution. She had to take the mirror and look at her own frustration. And it's like the scientist inside of Eugenia looks at her frustration with all the attention and absorption of an entomologist examining an amoeba under a microscope. So Eugenia has to change herself really into a sort of a reflective human being. So it's that strange sort of way, that there's a sort of moment when you don't realize that you're sort of excited or angry or frustrated, to the moment when you do, and at that moment, and there's no real sort of recommendation that you can give to someone as to how that is to occur. You can't sort of tell someone, you should be reflective, you know. It doesn't work. That's why all those types of prescriptions are in fact completely useless. So how does it occur? It's in a way mysterious, but I think what I spoke about with Nora at the beginning when she was treating this, that she had a real type of fascination and interest in why all these things were happening. And so she wasn't only interested just in Daniela, but she was also interested in her own reactions, and so it's like she was in that type of mindset from the beginning. And I think I'll stop there and leave a bit of time for questions.